Ryan, can you just give us your real-time read on how much damage already has been done and how much might still be left to do?
It was certainly a setback. I don't think anyone could possibly argue that. But when it comes to talking about the postmortem, I think we just need to let the justice system work its magic, and those things take time. So won't necessarily talk about any specific criminals or instances of fraud. And really, we're more focused on, is there ongoing contagion risk to the crypto markets, and where will we set some type of bottom or stability in the market so that we can start moving forward. There has been a lot of progress that's been made, but this was certainly a setback.
You seem to be a lot more measured right now, Ryan, than you were on your Twitter feed, than you have been on your Twitter feed. I guess maybe you talked to your compliance people, but it seems like in the past when there were big instances of fraud, and I'm not saying that was this, but the DOJ has nabbed these people pretty quickly. Bernie Madoff, I think it was like 7 days before they got to him. It's been a month now, almost, since the collapse of FTX. Do you not expect the DOJ to go down to the Bahamas and grab Sam Bankman-Fried?
Well, like I said, I'm not going to speculate on what a specific criminal or fraudster is going to be subject to when it comes to the justice system. And yes, I am very colorful on Twitter because I care deeply about this technology, the people in it, and I think this is a black eye for all of us. Now, having said that, you can talk about what it takes to move forward. And I think that's really where the conversation is pivoting from the professionals in the industry that have been working in crypto and advancing this ecosystem for a decade. And we have our work cut out for us next year. You know, I thought the last segment was spot on because in many respects, there was a media coronation of certain folks that claim to be representatives of the industry, but were relative newcomers. And those folks, I think, you know, in many cases overplayed their hand. Many of them, not just the one individual that you're looking for comment on, but many of them, I think, have been washed out of this market cycle because of excessive leverage, because of irresponsible behavior, and in some cases, yes, due to outright fraud. But the innovations that underpin this ecosystem have all made significant strides forward in the last several years. And I think that's a foundation we'll be able to build off of as long as some of the more measured and compliance focused firms are part of the conversation in DC and in Europe and everywhere in between to make sure that something like this can't happen again, that the centralized players that are handling customer funds are well regulated and the tech can continue to thrive in the U.S.
Ryan, you and your firm, Messari, you research, track, and you analyze developments in the crypto industry. So having looked at FTX over the last 4 weeks, is your assessment that this was simply a mistake, an accounting error, an oopsie, as some people have called it, or do you think that something else happened? What happened here after looking at this for so long?
You don't need a market intelligence firm to keep track of $8 billion. So I don't think that I really need to comment much more beyond that. I mean, this is such an egregious case that we're talking about that I just don't feel the need to comment on it further, right? And instead, what we're really looking at, to be honest with you, is where there might be other firms that are impacted. FTX was a major counterparty to many of the lenders in the space. The lending sector of crypto has been completely eviscerated this year, with about a dozen firms experiencing 9-figure losses, if not outright bankruptcies. So I don't think that we're going to be able to really progress until this damage is fully contained. And we know just how far this daisy chain of bad credit has extended going forward.
Ryan, can you just give us a sense of which dominoes you think are at greatest risk of falling? Can you name names?
Well, I think that they are part of the public record right now. You have one major lender in the industry, Genesis Capital, which did suspend withdrawals a couple of weeks ago and is working on a resolution right now for something that they call a duration and collateral mismatch. I happen to believe that there's some truth to that just based on public filings and what we know about them as a lender. That said, everyone in the industry that's partaken in any sort of crypto collateralized lending has been under an enormous period of stress financially, and some of the liquidity issues, I think, have yet to fully unwind themselves from the system. So we're keeping a close eye on that situation. Many of these firms are privates, and there are not disclosures that are currently available to investors publicly. So we're trying to do what we can with public information and on-chain forensics, but it's an incomplete picture.
Ryan, what's going to be left still standing?
Well, I think there's plenty that's still going to be left standing. I mean, people have short memories generally, but law is permanent. So when you think about the advances that have been made in blockchain scalability in terms of the accessibility and ubiquity of stablecoins, when you think about the 0-to-1 innovations that have happened in decentralized finance protocols, non-fungible tokens, DAOs, all of these other kind of exotic things that look like toys, they are going to be the foundations for real killer applications tomorrow. Big thing that needs to happen and that we need to get right in the aftermath of this catastrophe at FTX is permanent legislation and good, clear regulation of centralized intermediaries within the crypto space. I think if we can get that right without throwing the baby out with the bathwater and crippling innovation in protocol development and software development, then we're going to come out the other side of this okay, and I think much stronger.